Marvin's magical moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of Made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of Made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of Made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of Made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of Made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. Jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store.
Applications to those August 25th meetings. All those in favor of approving as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. C, President Charlie. Mr. Hazelbaker, Director of Operations report.
I don't really have anything to report other than just receiving several applications about fences. A couple today, in fact, about fences and a couple signs. So really don't have anything else to add. I've not heard back from the gentleman on Atlantic Street. I don't know if he's not picking up his mail or realizes he's in trouble and won't pick up his certified letter.
How many days do they got before they send it back?
I think it's a month. So it would be coming up.
I'm just curious what our next step is. Do we have
Well,
send one with an officer?
I was with Officer Jim Nolan. Attorney Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Hazelbaker. Shirley, public comment will be taken after discussion of items D through H by the zoning commission, followed by the final discussion by the zoning commission, and the final vote as of such. And of course, every time we will open it up to the public, just make sure the microphone is on. And you state your name when you speak, please. So with that being said, we will jump to D, as in dog. Application of zoning compliance certificates for review, 2020-042. Mr. Miller, his residence there at 607 Barnett.
Move to approve.
Second.
And with that being said, Mr. Miller or Mr. Hazelbaker, would you like to give a little short spiel on it?
Well, I'll just turn it over to Mr. Miller and Mr. Miller.
Yeah, I just want to build a little house there. And the setbacks are, on that are 25 foot, which there's some houses that are right in the same area that are like 17 foot and 18 foot and stuff like that. And I'd like to get about the same setback on them that the other houses have got, just so that I can make my house wider than 15 foot wide. Because it just doesn't, it won't fit my plan for a house there. And I'd like to build it a little bigger.
So truly, the house does face Barnett, correct?
Yes,
Then the garage is going to face Walnut.
the garage is gonna face the alley. There's an alley there, there's two lots there.
Okay, that's because I'm confused.
Oh, wait,
Because here's Walnut, I live 2 blocks over. Here's Barnett.
Oh,
Here's
here's
Walnut.
Walnut.
Here's the alley. You're facing Barnett. Your garage is on the end.
I think the house is facing Walnut.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, there's,
I'm sorry,
Yeah, it's Walnut. It's Walnut because it's the one that's, yeah.
yeah. I was
I'm
like,
sorry. Yeah.
okay, I don't have a bad day.
Yeah, that should be Walnut, yeah. I'm sorry.
I didn't notice the one.
Yeah.
Because we just know last time you were looking at, yeah, and I'm like,
Well,
dang.
No, it's going to be facing.
we're gonna put a lot of hours in.
I was gonna say, yeah, man, we got a new
I
alleyway
had
down
pressure
there.
put on me and I was like, okay, I gotta draw this out.
No,
So, sorry about that.
no, you're totally fine.
I guess another question I got is, have you already done a boundary adjustment? You're showing your property line in the middle of your property.
There's two lots on there.
Right, but the lots actually go the other way.
The lots are, there's two 87-foot lots and two 50-foot lots.
I thought the lots. Right, the lots are running from Barnett to the alley.
Correct. So they're parallel to
Right,
Walnut.
right. So he's showing his thing going across.
So is that draw wrong? I did.
Well, unless your front door is on the end.
No, I'm not.
So have you
no.
seen those trailers, those 2 trailer houses?
Oh,
Yeah, we
they're
see
blondie
that.
up there.
We took one of them off.
I noticed.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of the neighbors were
So
celebrating.
the alley is there, that's Walnut right now.
Yes.
So Barnett is here.
To see your 2
Walnut
lots.
is over here, but there's a property line right here.
I'll go on to this way. We redone the boundary adjustment.
No, I have to do a
220.
Because you did a boundary adjustment, you'd have to go across.
divide it.
This is what you're saying.
If you want to divide it.
And then this piece would fall into your alley. That's the piece here.
Okay, no, I haven't done that. So, I'll have to do that then.
So this is Barnett and this is
Right.
Walnut.
And that's a lot of adjustment.
Yeah, because you already,
Yes.
the only reason I would do it before you do it this way,
Yeah.
if you build your
So
house
your-
and you do a
your
lot
lots
of
are
adjustment, you
facing
can't make
east and
setbacks on your 2 houses, you can't do your boundary
Parallel.
adjustment. You
Yeah,
have to build
perpendicular,
the setback
yeah.
when you do your boundary
It
adjustment.
just doesn't make sense for like how the trailers were set up.
Well, if they weren't necessarily not as a lot, see. Yeah, I was thinking they
That they
went that
have this
way.
one. Before you were saying.
This the way the town was laid out, was
Spread out, just like here.
It's pretty much all the town.
This is the weirdest.
Yeah.
There's all 25 of them.
But I guess he could keep it as one lot.
These are some.
That's one piece of property and put 2 homes on it.
These are.
And never sell it.
66 or something.
Well,
Yeah.
right.
Worst case
It's kind of what
scenario.
they want to do like Chestnut.
Well,
Or you like, cause
well,
it would be,
it is,
it's
yeah.
like long and
Yeah.
skinny, like that's just.
Well, the idea was that you probably have all these lots as you want to a lot.
Yeah.
To your house, you know, your house would face.
We can't
the
actually give you,
But
you'll have to go
it's
through
not a big
variance
deal.
to get the
You just need to
variance on
do a
25 foot
boundary
setback.
adjustment.
Yeah.
So
we have to go through a variance
You've got
to
2
get-
lots, so you don't have to
19
go
rather
through
than
subdivision.
25.
You're not creating any
Yeah, and that's what we were,
Yeah.
that's what we were.
You just have to get a variance.
So you
Survey.
come mainly to
And
get
that
it,
survey.
so you get your variance.
Yeah.
Showing the lots going away.
Yeah.
Well,
And that used to make more sense.
Lot line.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not that.
And it's not all over
Okay, so,
town, these corner
yeah,
lots.
when I.
But I guess,
sell it
like,
or
Guys
whatever,
are turning them like that all over.
Well,
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have to.
But wouldn't
I'll have to do
you,
that
wouldn't there be a
before.
way to maybe like, since it's all our lot anyways, get the variance to
Because, I mean,
build the
we-
one house
we
and then,
deny it.
Yeah,
so we can
no,
get,
variance
so we can get that
built.
variance and
It's
start
on the
building
lot.
on it,
Yeah.
and then get it changed,
Yeah,
so we
it's
can do
just,
it before winter.
if you wanted to sell.
Before I
it,
sell.
Yeah, before we
You'd be
sell
selling
them.
them 2 lots.
Yeah, but before we sell the house, we get that.
Yeah,
You gotta be all
Yeah, so-
careful about what
Because
you
we'd like
do.
to start, we'd like to start on it so that we can start building before it gets winter time.
There's nothing cheap you could put a house on.
That
for
day,
Yeah.
years.
we just.
Yeah, if we can get that
But if
variance.
you wanted the 2 lots.
Yeah,
then
then
you
you're
would
gonna
just
start
put
doing
the
garage.
flash
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, so that's what we could, then we can Because always that's all do like that later on, like
When you drive
before we
around-
sell it.
When you drive around,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of corner lots.
So I thought.
Yeah.
175.
I've taken the
Yeah.
25 foot lots going this way and turned them,
Yeah.
you know, so they could get 2 lots going around.
Yeah, I'm sure our neighbors, I'm sure some of our neighbors have done that too. 'cause you
Probably.
said-
I'll talk to, I'll talk to.
Other than just about
But,
half, I mean,
That's what
87 and a half.
87.6.
Sound deep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna tell them what I,
Yeah, no, that's.
So, in theory, so you have to have.
Those lots are,
well, that we could get the adjustment, like, on the lots, like a lot of the other neighbors, I think, you know?
well, this, they're talking the property line here.
Yeah, the property line is like really long, skinny,
Right.
but, I was saying,
We need a lot line adjustment.
but can we still get, but since we own the lot, before, like, can we get the variance? Can we still move to get the variance so we
Yes.
could start building?
Yes, sir.
Before,
You can, like I said, the only danger is, but if you're cutting it truly in half, you just gotta be aware when you cut it in half, that front lot, it's gotta have 25 foot setback unless you wanna try for another variance. I don't know if they'll give you 2. You see what I'm
I
saying?
mean, the 25-foot variance from,
Off the front street, which would be Barnett.
okay,
So your front lot would be 87 wide. So rather than this 10 foot.
because Barnett's the controlling street.
Right here. Now, if you do a boundary adjustment, your controlling street will be here.
Mhm.
See, and that's why I said you have to be careful about that, because if you do this first, you won't be able to do a boundary adjustment because you will not be able to meet setbacks.
So do the lot line adjustment first.
I would do the lot line first and then go for the
just
variance.
because then you know exactly what the second
Right.
structure can be on that second half.
Right. Because you're gambling.
Because I think you're trying to mimic
on
both
whether or
of
not
them.
you're going to get
Yeah.
this done if
Well-
you don't meet setback.
Well, where those two trailers are, like, that's how they brought
Right.
those two trailers in, and it's like 607A and 607B, so we just wanted to.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
No, that's.
But, yeah, and then I've seen those, that we
And
want
I
to get a
looked
lot
at
line
that too, and I
adjustment or
didn't-
whatever, but
Right,
it's
if
like,
you do lot line,
but we also want to we also want to get the, we want to try to get the variance,
But
so we
We
can,
gotta do the lot line adjustment first.
Right. Well, I mean, you can go for your variance, but like I said, if you do the variance, you're gambling on whether or not you can get a lot line adjustment because you can't meet zoning. And if you can't meet zoning, you can't do a lot line adjustment.
So we'll do the lot line
See, that's what
adjustment
has-
first.
unfortunately.
And
Do the lot line adjustment.
how long
I
does
feel
the
like we
lot,
might-
how
I feel
long
like-
does the lot line adjustment take to?
Right now, they're slowing down, so
So-
I'd probably say here within a month or so.
within a
Part of
month?
me just feels like we could just go and try to get the lot line adjustment later, because we'll still have that
Well,
other
we're
trailer
taking-
house on there.
Well, taking a
And
chance
you
though.
can, but then, like I said, If you cannot meet zoning requirements, you can't have a lot line adjustment. That's what happened over here to these two houses at Barry Bridgefield.
Okay,
When you
well,
went to do lot line
I'll-
adjustment, you couldn't.
I'll
meet
talk to
setback.
Travis then and have him go over there and make a lot line adjustment and if it only takes like a month or something, then,
Because they're slowing down. So they should be able to get it
then a
done.
variance, how long would
And
that?
then you come back in and apply for this, and if you do it the same way you're doing here, we will turn it down because of the two variances. And
Yeah.
then, what's it take for variance? That's minimum 30 days because of the,
Well, this one is, there are letters that go to the neighbors.
And
What's on the backside? Can they push it back?
backside.
So they can push frontage.
You mean,
Backside of the.
There's like 7 foot or something.
oh, here,
So it's only seven.
right, it's only
So they don't
7.
gain anything. Crackers.
Yeah. I think if it was me doing the project, I think I would move my house out 10 feet and only go for one variance as opposed to 2.
So move it 10 foot and then shorten that.
And then try for a 15-foot, a variance of 15 feet here.
Yeah, because there's some houses there that are like
Very
5 foot
close.
away.
Right,
Close,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean,
We
5
just-
foot off
we
off
just-
the
No, because
street.
you're on the edge of new and old.
Yeah,
You know, what we just wanted to do is like, not go out any further than any of the other houses nearby. I mean,
Right.
just line up, you know, and like, wouldn't.
because there is some new houses that are newer houses that are like 17.
But if I go to
foot.
your right and I got the house on the corner across the street, the little cabin on the alley, they
Yeah.
are clearly,
Well, and that's, right, see, and this would line up more if you, if, like I said, I wouldn't try to come this way, because then I would be lined up with everything to the south.
Like 15 foot, get a 15 foot variance.
That's what I personally would try to do. I mean, I can't advise you.
Okay, well,
But, well, because then you're only going to be trying to get one variance too.
okay, one variance for both houses. Because I'll take that
Well,
other trailer out of there,
If you're going to do that, right, I would do the boundary adjustment, do them both. and-
do them both and save time. and-
Yes.
Right,
simultaneous. That
Right.
way you're piggybacking.
Okay,
right.
all right, I'll talk to Travis and have him give me a lot line adjustment and then we'll come back
That
in
shouldn't
for.
be, I wouldn't think any issue there.
No.
Mr. Chairman, I know it's not public comment here. Would it be possible for him to ask for a variance for a proposed lot line adjustment at the same time? Just speed things up without having the actual COS done?
See, and that's, if we look at
Okay.
the checkoff list that most people,
You see what I mean? Would he
Right.
would he have to have a COS
the
before?
COS, because the checkoff list for the official legal.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, could he go through the variance process in parallel with having the COS done?
Lot line.
That's a.
You see what I mean? He would be.
yeah, that's a Jim Dolan.
Yeah, it's a Jim Dolan, because the legal.
I understand what you're trying to do, it speeds up the process.
Well, I'm just saying
Helps
that
them.
he's really asking for a variance to do the COS in that case, you know.
Well, no, he won't need a variance to the COS. If he does a boundary adjustment, there's nothing there,
No, yeah, I understand that.
there'll be no issue with doing the lot line adjustment.
So I guess I would check with Travis
Okay,
and find out his timeline. If he's totally out 3 months, then come back and do the variance.
okay.
Because I know you're edging to get in there.
Yeah, we wanted to get a foundation
Before the
before it
snow
was, yeah, before it got too cold, so.
Right.
But I'll talk to Travis and,
That's just a recommendation for you. I mean, it's not official.
that's
Like, how much of a risk is it to just, like, if we just went through with the variance right now and then got
I
it?
say we can go
like-
ahead and turn it down and start a variance on this back piece, but then your,
The unknown is the other.
the unknown is right, I don't know.
Because if you're trying to mimic them.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Right, that's what I thought last presentation.
Saying I can see right here, if you're gonna just turn this around, I can see you're not gonna make it on the front,
Yes.
because you gotta have 10 foot off the property line here and 25 off the front, so you only have 15.
yeah,
See, so you're gonna have to gain 10
Or
feet
50.
somewhere.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
So,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So you're gonna have to shrink your house, build a house out of
Yeah,
garage,
'cause
maybe in
that's-
the front.
87.
Or build a house with just a one-car garage entering this way or something.
Coming off of Walnut,
Right. or,
with the garage.
right, or something like that.
Because they do have the concrete cut out there, I mean, they have a, but I just think it's dangerous to come out of there. It's more of a thoroughfare now because it
Oh, yeah.
seems like.
Especially if it's going in.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guess what would you like us to do? Do you want us to go ahead and discuss this and
Yeah, if you would, discuss it and then I'll talk to Travis and see if he can,
you can, right, that'll be.
because we'd need the lot line adjustment before if we were gonna sell it or,
Right,
you know,
right.
so I'll talk to Travis and.
But I'd still probably like just to discuss that though.
Well, no, we can go ahead and vote on this and discuss it and vote, and if you want to start your variance, your
Okay, and then
whatever.
I'll have Travis get the lot line adjustment started and,
Yeah, right,
okay,
right, just so you're aware of the front, if you're only gonna have issues with the front, to double it.
yeah.
But you can adjust your house maybe to fit or whatever,
Yeah.
so.
And I probably have to change that around to
Mhm.
the garage door on the front pan instead of the out, coming on the out.
Right.
But, and that's no big deal, I mean, I can,
No, well, and see, well, if you just want to, I don't know what you got for a bedroom yet, so.
yeah. All right.
Okay. Okay, how many bedrooms is this then, I guess?
That's only 2 bedrooms.
It's only 2 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Okay, so
You have parking.
I guess you'll have to.
You have a parking covered. Your driveway and the garage. Yeah.
You need 2 spaces.
2 spaces, yeah. I don't want to park on the street. I rented it to a guy that parked on the street and he got sideswiped out there, so.
Like you say, you probably don't want to be
Well,
messing around.
No.
I guess that being said, the only issues I got right now, he has 2 setback issues, front and back. Assuming this is the front. And he's showing grass, he's got his parking. And he's 21 foot to the ridge, if I read your little plans right,
Yeah.
is that correct?
So with that being said, we will open up the certificate 2020-042 for public comment at this time. Or suggestions. They're easy to get along with.
Yeah. Are we supposed to be saying our comments right now?
I think
I got it.
what I'll probably do, because Travis said that he's been through this quite a lot, I think I might let Travis go ahead and come in and get the lot line and the setbacks and tell me what to do, because I wouldn't, you know, I can,
That's what I would strongly recommend, so I would suggest that you pull it,
okay.
and then speak with Travis, get that done, and then you can mimic it, because we gotta realize with the flip, you're putting that garage on Barnett, which we know that big
Yeah.
dip right there when you make the right-hand turn, and then you're gonna have Busy Walnut. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have a odd sight triangle coming into
Yeah,
that
I know.
garage.
You know, like Barnett, for the other one, there's a cut
Mhm.
down on that also.
Mhm. I
So-
do it quite often.
Yeah,
But I
and
forget.
it goes across the sidewalk and into and I was thinking that would be the garage part, but,
Well, I guess I was thinking you wasn't gonna flip it, you're just gonna put it on move it the same direction. So the garage would be between the 2 houses.
Is that what you're gonna do?
no, the garage is
I
gonna
thought-
be coming off of,
Yes.
it'll be coming off of Barnett.
Yes.
They'll be on the ends, and then
The other one will be up the other.
yeah, then the other one will be off the alley, so you don't have to back out onto Walnut.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
And your front door?
it just looks dangerous to me coming,
Oh, yeah.
I'd be nervous about it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad corner down
And
there.
there's plenty of room to pull in, and I noticed there's a lot of other, like couple garages coming in off the alley on, 3 or 4 other houses through
Right.
there also.
So I guess at this time, I really don't want to vote and have it turned down and then you have to pay. I mean, truly right now, if we could do the boundary adjustment, get that taken care of with Travis. And
Okay,
I know it's gonna set you back another 2 weeks.
okay. And I'll talk to Travis. I'll call him as soon as I get out of here.
That's my suggestion right now. I mean,
So I will move to table it.
thank you.
I'll second
So does Travis, is that all we have to talk to is Travis, who we have to take the boundary adjustment?
Travis will
Yeah,
talk to.
Travis on visit.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Then
right.
that way we'll probably see in 2 weeks.
Sounds
But at
good.
least then you have,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, at least we'll know.
in the final
Travis
steps.
will be able to set us in the right direction
Yes.
and
Yes.
be able to know what hoops we
Yes,
need.
because I just don't want us to turn you down, then you pay more money again
Okay, gotcha. And we'll just,
Yeah.
I just assume get them both taken care of at the same time and
exactly. So all those in favor of saying aye,
Aye.
Aye.
all those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Bill.
all right, thank you.
You can leave if you like.
Is there anything else?
Oh, no, sure, you can stay here. You know, tell us how life is going, you know.
We'll stick around and.
I'm curious, why a 14-foot?
Well, because, like, it's only going to be 20 foot wide, or 21 foot wide. So on the side.
So with that being said, we will jump to
No, not.
certificate number 2020-043, the W Land LLC, accessory structure.
Yes, actually look like figure that out.
Not an assessor.
I will move to approve, or I just check, you would move to approve.
I'll
I'm
move
sorry.
to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Hazelbaker, would you like to speak on behalf of the W Land LLC?
I'm not going to speak on behalf of them, but I'll share with you what I know.
Okay.
And Mr. Woodland did know about the meeting tonight, so. As you're aware of, he has that building over on Railroad Avenue, the small little shop that he uses as a office building. He'd like to move it over so it's on his property that is, well, it's all one lot. The building would sit on the right side of the laundromat on Montana Street. That is where he would like to. There'll be no water, no sewer. He just wants to move the building over there. And that would be his office. His plans are to put in a modular home business and set up his, can't think of the word now, but his display models.
Is he going to put electricity into his little building or anything like that? Or he's just going to be sitting there?
I think it's just gonna be sitting there.
Well, I went through the book and I come up with retail large scale is what I would consider that. I guess we discussed it, or I discussed it with Todd, I thought it looked at me and funny anyway. And the only thing he come up with and is there any actual setback for where he puts his thing? I kind of look at it being basically the same as like a used car salesman or something, or lot, or something like that, but is there any setback on if he puts two big units in there, can he put them right on the property line? I mean, they're not really, I don't know, they're not homes, they're not set up, they'll be,
Right.
I'm assuming it'll be like they'll bring them in, put them on blocks just to look at
Right.
and move them away, so I don't know if there's any setback that he needs to concern himself with, other than one thing I did think about after we talked is if he puts it into this very front corner, where there'll be a sidecar, it'll issue when you pull out of there
Yes.
onto Franklin Street. You see what I'm saying?
But I think
believe
you'd be
there's-
far enough, well, you have to remember, there's the Montana right of way,
Yes.
state of
Is that
Montana right of way,
far
so I
back?
think he would be back far enough.
Is it? Okay, I don't know where the.
But no, that's a good question, yeah, I'd have to measure.
That'd be the only thing is maybe just caution him when he puts him in there.
That's at least be 50 feet.
He has to have enough room, right, to see in there.
Yeah.
I guess what worried me about that mainly is not only going on there, but if someone's fooling around in there and there's a train coming in there behind the thing and, you know what I mean? It's definitely an issue if you're turning on Franklin going across the tracks. Is that got a gate on there? I don't
No,
think it
no,
does.
no, no. It's just in the reverse.
And then, parking, the only thing I can see for parking is the building is, one parking space. Would be all he would need. And I'm sure, I mean, he did designate it on here and I thought he was going to discuss it. I thought he meant he was going to be here to discuss it, but
So what's the sign?
that's his laundromat
That's
sign
all
over
over
there.
there.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Right, because if he wants, I mean, I guess if he wants to put a sign, you'll have to come get a permit for that.
Right.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'll open up public discussion on 2020-043, the W Land LLC at this time.
Except on. Yeah, Ed Money. I guess I have more of a question than anything. In the retail, isn't there parking required for the customers? I mean, you can't just consider the building unless that's all he's gonna have on there, right?
Yeah.
People are gonna be coming and looking at those trailers, yes?
Yes.
So there's gotta be a requirement for parking.
I was actually gonna look at that because like I said,
Yeah.
I was assuming it'd be like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
A car lot, used car.
Well, that used car lot that is just down the street there, there's plenty
And
of,
automobile sales.
yeah.
Should have a large retail. So if we go by automobile sales, one space for 200 square feet of indoor floor area, plus one space for 20 outdoor vehicle display spaces. So I would say realistically, if we followed that, we would need two. Because
20 vehicles would be about the same size as one of the mobile homes, probably.
Right, well, I guess I'm thinking, well, you're gonna get 20 trailers on it, most you're gonna get is two.
Well, that's
Even realistically, if we say 3 parking spaces, he's got them.
Yeah, because if we look at sales sites for model homes, which it is, it's one space per 250 feet.
Yeah, that's what it is,
Yeah.
model
Yeah,
homes.
there is one,
That's
yeah.
model homes.
Okay, yeah. So one space per 250 feet of model floor area.
And that would be the lot size, right? You guys have some, oh shit, I just.
Well, I'm taking the 250 square feet of model floor. That would be the size of trailer we put in there. So if we put it 14 by 70, that means,
Is that what he's saying, Ron?
yeah, well, it says 250 square feet of model floor area. So it'd be the floor of the model, I would assume, of the building. So if he puts in a, well, then double wide, you're what, 48 by 50, does that sound right? No.
Well, that'd be a round number, it'd be about
They're
25.
always odd numbers though. that would be 76 by about 32, because it would be no more than 16 wide, I think. So 60, yeah.
50 by 50 is 2,500 square feet, so
Yeah, well,
that'd
now,
be 10 spaces there.
I'm guessing that that's what they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if we had a whole row across the front, I would give them 10 parking spaces.
You could need something like that during a promotion sometime or something. Probably. Maybe. Beautiful.
Might have a big showing, a big open house.
So with that, you really realistically be limited to one trailer down there, which I don't know what he plans on doing for trailers, I guess. He hadn't said anything to you, you were going to have one at a time.
This is an exciting enough room.
I'm not a good dump truck. Yeah, for sure.
Be nice for a little meal.
I'm working too hard to send them.
Even for the model home, she has to have power because the sun's.
Nice to see you. That feels nice to
I'm not
meet
asking for that.
Guess we'll see you two minutes later.
Change of use. We would like to use our open lots, blah, 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 blah.
Make sure it's a cover
Manufactured
on
home sales
cheap.
and
That cover on that.
construction
I've been down here,
equipment,
got a
parking,
chill. But I do have-
slash and rentals
Jacket
or
in the car, so.
construction equipment, parking, rentals.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. So how many businesses are going in down there? Because if we look at his, moving his
Oh,
his office, which is modular and manufactured homes, that's business one. If we look at business two, clearly we have construction equipment, parking, and rentals.
Oh, that's right.
So how much heavy equipment's gonna be down there parking? Are we copying Shepherd's? Are we going across the street from the old Sundowner? I mean, if he's looking at bringing in equipment and having it, it has to be fenced off for safety and security.
Construction equipment.
So I mean, but his application is only for country homes, modular and manufactured homes. That's my assumption.
right, that's what I thought. I guess I should have read the other further back in there because I stopped on the thing.
Yeah.
Manufactured homes and construction equipment, parking. Like he's going
Right.
to be parking construction equipment there, slash rentals.
Yeah, you
Well,
can
I'm
put the
assuming he's
equipment
going
on
to park
using it.
stuff to rent.
Yeah.
DC rent.
Is that another use? Is he gonna have this construction equipment rented out?
Yes. So I think that's why he's asking for a change of use. So now we don't know that square footage. He hasn't put the carte
I'm not reading
blanche
it.
application does not include everything, sorry.
I think that we need to,
Have him come in.
table this until he comes in and makes things. I guess we need to know two things. We need to know what size the trailer he's going to be putting in there for display. And then I guess we need to know if he's going to open a rental place up. What's that?
He's got park, construction equipment, and have rentals.
Because if you look at your equipment rental, it's one space for 500 square feet of sales or display area.
Right, and that's going to make a big difference because he's going to have.
He's gonna run out of space.
He doesn't have enough space.
And even though he owns the laundromat, he can't
No, even if he bought it.
overflow into that.
No, but somebody actually owns that, I think that's the
Yeah, he owns it. He owns it, yeah.
He didn't indicate to you, Mr. Hazelmaker, what
Yeah.
he didn't indicate to you about this construction part of it? Or he did?
I'm trying to think of the conversation, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Pretty open-ended, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time. Because if his application is strictly for the modular manufacturer, obviously it's pretty straightforward. But with this other addition, it's questionable.
Well. Would that be an industrial use to have equipment rental? Really?
I guess I'd recommend tabling it until he can come in
Verify.
and verify, specifically address how much room he's gonna need.
Well, that was my motion. I was trying to find all the questions that we need answered.
Yeah, because truly it's going to be the parking.
Right, yeah. I just don't know what would we call that, contractor's yard? Construction contractor. Or would that be auto sales and rental? I don't know what to call a rental place like that is. Yeah. Well, I guess so long as it's in the parking, we can figure it out from there.
Because it's going to be outdoor sales, which is your equipment rental. And that's one space per 500 square feet of sales and or display area. Because that's one half. And then we truly have model homes, which is 250 square feet of model floor area. So I would think he's going to max it out either A or B. I don't think it's going to be a combination of both.
Oh, well, if he puts one 14 by 70 trailer, that will max his parking lot.
Correct.
He needs to show on his plot plan where his display area and where his parking is.
So I guess
And what's
that's,
gonna be decided?
that's gonna be the conversation, to find out which route he's gonna go.
Parking is gonna be an issue going on, so.
Yeah, and then the parking.
Anyway, I guess I will move and to table this until such time as we can determine which he wants to use and parking.
I second the motion.
Great, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Mr. Hazelbaker, thank you for contacting Eric for clarification. So with that being said, we will jump to E. Update of the new proposed zoning district classification, public hearing. And I believe we were looking for a location or a facility large enough to.
No, this
accommodate-
is,
This one we're just gonna have here,
Oh.
is what I thought.
yes, it'll be here scheduled for September 22nd at 6:30
Okay.
before our next meeting. This is not for zoning a particular area. This is for the establishment of a new zoning district
Correct,
Right.
classification.
correct.
Right.
Step one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that simultaneous with?
No,
Okay.
this is just to get, because if this doesn't go through, or let's say it's decided
Not to do it.
not to do it, then we're not tied into,
No, I just meant the city council's public hearing. Last couple
Oh,
of times
no.
we've combined
No.
the two to expedite time.
At 6:30?
yes. No, it's too late for that since it's already advertised.
Thank you. So I know you both will be here. Awesome. Update, review, discussion of the IWorkU presentation proposal. I know the guys made a great presentation last week, and Mr. Hazelbaker sent out their bids.
Yeah, in your packets, copy.
And I see that they gracefully gave us a discount.
Yeah.
But that was impressive. Anything to save money? I think it's a great company, and I'll just speak for myself. Looking at all their modulars and everything else that they do with the add-ons, I think it's a phenomenal tool. However, I think the other aspect of this is that the cost of the program is one, and then to find an employee, volunteer, or someone to enter this data is the other half. And I hope y'all don't take that the wrong way. No offense to the administration, but I think that's added hours that we have to backtrack and put a lot of basic data into the system. And it's just a matter of maintaining that data. And I think that's a cost factor we need to look into, whether it be the director of operations or one of the gals in the office. That's just my personal opinion.
And that might be something too that the city could look at, is getting a working relationship with somebody from the college. I'm not sure work study is the right word, but I can't think of the word, what it is to describe it.
Intern?
An intern, yes.
I just know that going forward,
That's the big one.
I think it's a great tool, and Lord knows I have iPads that I don't use, and they're a great tool. I mean, but I think unless we truly take it full circle, that's my only concern. Because I know you wear numerous hats, your plate is full, and just to get a lot of the basics into that system and keeping it updated is going to be critical. If
Yeah.
not, we're back to where we start. We know, Todd knows, but the programmer doesn't. And we still have a disconnect at a large expense. I just think we need to look at it full circle and see if there's another route, data entry person or someone that we can, because I just don't want to say, hey, Hazel Baker, you're looking really nice tonight. You losing weight? You look good, buddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want us to get our hopes up and then we found a solution. But unless you utilize that solution 100%,
Yeah,
and then we have people come back on us and say, you guys blew how much, 1,000? You know, that's,
yeah, you're looking at $8,000 a year
right, but it's
for
still
both programs.
how it's utilized.
Yeah,
And if we can't get the data into it, it's like sitting in the dark. I know the power switch works. I mean, that's just me.
and my concern is that there is not a funding apparatus, a funding tool.
And
to
it's time to
pay.
have a trigger to compensate.
Yes. That's one of my major concerns.
And then we all rely on this program to notify me or alert me of the issues, and it's like, well, we still have to input. I mean, surely if we had a part-time code enforcer or something to help generate some of that money and data entry, I think it's a no-brainer. But at this point, I think it's a great tool. I just don't know how well we'll be able to utilize it and at what expense. Maybe I'm lying.
No, I looked at the proposed budget for Bozeman. And they're a public work guy. They're spending more on a car than we have in our budget for the zoning stuff.
I know, right? It's bulletproof too. Sorry. Bad taste. No, I just think if we had a trigger mechanism or something in the budget to allocate said money, and then I think it'd be great, not just for us, but the whole city.
Yeah,
But I think until we're bestowed a gift or an endowment, I think at this time we have to dream.
But have you, forwarded this on to the water and sewer committee?
no,
They got money.
Well, they don't, but I guess what I'm kind of thinking about is, how much they're paying for a service similar to this now, that don't include some of the stuff, the billing and.
And see, I think that's where, maybe for us right now, it's not doable, but I think for the water and sewer, yes. Because that's a phenomenal module that they have.
okay, no, I'm not taking it to the water sewer. But I can put it on their next agenda, to have them look at it.
We'll give them guys something to talk about.
No, because I think it's a great product.
Yeah.
Because for us, we don't have enough coming in. Yeah, I'm gonna start finding people.
Well, see, that's if we had building codes, if we had, or what are the fees? I know Whitefish charges them, Element charges them,
Your development fees.
development fees.
Yes.
Yeah, if we had development fees, then that could be part of this. But since we don't,
Yeah, I guess we gotta write some grants.
I think development fees would push more people out of town again.
Well, your development fees and your impact fees
That's,
are truly supposed to be turning over. But because we're not evolving fast enough, growth and building wise, we don't have that turnover, so it slightly dead ends.
yeah,
And I think that's why when you look at like the TIF and a lot of the areas, it's like we just don't have enough yet going to get there. But I think it's a worthy program. I think both guys made a phenomenal presentation. But yeah, I would truly like to see the water and sewer department maybe take a look at it.
okay.
Public comment on that discussion, Mr. Akini?
Yeah, Ed Mooney, and regrettably, I missed the presentation, and I haven't had the time to go online and look at their system, but from what I've read, it looks like pretty standard stuff.
Yes.
But I can tell you, this is kind of in my wheelhouse a little bit on these kinds of processes and things. And one thing, you know, it's kind of an axiom that you don't, well, there's a couple of sayings, garbage in, garbage out. You know, so the data has to be good data, and it has to be, there has to be a system for collecting it and verifying it and getting it in. There's a lot besides just having the software, right? And I think you were alluding to that a little bit. And then the other thing is that you don't want to automate a bad process, you know, and of course you don't know whether you've got a good or a bad process until you've documented it. Right. And so I was kind of interested that when I was skimming this, when they talked about the planning phase of the work that they're proposing, during the planning phase, account manager will work with your team. Obviously, we're looking at it, right? To define how processes at your agency work today and how you would like your new system to operate going forward. So, you know, that's really what you've kind of been talking about a lot here lately. And of course, I beat that drum about getting the process right and having a process for closing the loop on these things and that kind of, and checking off. Todd's done quite a bit of work on some of the front end on those things. One of the things I throw out there, and I hate to volunteer for things, but I have spent a fair amount of my time over the years consulting on things like this. I volunteer when the snow's on the ground and I'm not watching fires and stuff up on our property. I volunteer to work with the city to pick out one or two areas and help get the processes documented. And we did a little bit of that with flowchart on the zoning process way back when. And but I think you've been talking about a lot of stuff, in my opinion, looking the right direction for where to go. And I'll just put it out there. I'd operate
And what day are you available?
operate as a consultant.
What day?
Well, probably sometime in November.
And free?
Yeah. And assuming some time frees up for Todd and maybe some of the other people in the city and zoning commission, I'd be more than willing to.
No, and I appreciate that, because I
To
think
work on
sometimes
this.
we gotta tap into our local resources,
Yeah.
you know, and to see what they have to say and do, because sometimes I think we all get tunnel vision and we all get bogged down.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it helps when you get thrown a lifeline, so thank you.
Yeah. So let me know. But I'm real encouraged with what's been going on here recently.
Well, thank you. I think we're trying to work harder. I know we have these nice, thinner docs, which is a blessing. You know, so I mean, I think we're trying to evolve and really work with the people. We're not here to judge and be the jury and the bad guys. I think we're truly open for ideas and progress moving forward. So with that being said, we will jump to G. The Mountain View Home subdivision zoning designation. I believe Ivyville is currently an R1, but everyone enjoys it as a R2.
Mr. Dolan and I have had informal discussions. We have not come up with any letter yet. And that was the plan, was to come up with a letter to notify all the owners and renters. So I asked them to be tabled.
But perhaps going forward with that, I realize that, of course, you know, citizens can make requests and change. It might be the best interest to simply do the whole city of what's currently zoned. That way we're not alienating out anybody. Secondly, we're informing people of what their zone is and what's allowed in that zone. I mean, people still think Kentucky and all of us down there are R3 and free-for-alls. Yes. But we switched to R2, and I think maybe if we just send out the map, that this is currently what if you fall within these zones, this is what R1 is, R2, R3. If you want to change our stipulation, etc., let Mr. Hazelbaker know. I mean, I'm just saying,
No, I understand.
I understand the concern that's coming out of Ivyville, but I think out of respect to the folks that made the presentation, I look and counteract to the folks on Kentucky. They took it and brought it forward. We're not eminent domain. We're not coming in as Big Brother in Ivyville. We're approaching the two separately different. And I think maybe if we were to educate everybody and say, guess what? Here's the new map. You may not get the colored map, but here's the new zoning, and here's still what's unzoned. If you have questions of what's allowed within your district, contact the zoning commission.
Maybe that's the things that zoning covers, if it's change of use.
That's just me, though.
Well, I'll throw this out then. Do we want to have, like, I think Mr. Graham led for some signs, the LED signs, that we have an open house? Do we want to have an open house and open, do we want to go that far? And then also do the education through the mail.
No, I truly think we could do the mailing and have the map, and then surely, at that following zoning commission meeting, we will open up a section pertinent to R1, R2, R3s.
I'll visit with Diane.
Because that way, if the folks have questions or concerns, they could truly come forth and say, hey, as a neighborhood, you want to change? Here's what you can do. But I think we're throwing it back on the citizens rather than us stepping in and saying, hey, you can't do that here, even though you've done it for the last 40 years. Not that I don't mind taking heat. I just think, one, if we educate that way, we're educating the whole town.
Yeah.
Because a lot of folks still don't know what's going on over there. They don't know what we've changed on the map. Because a lot of folks still think it's the same old map. And I think that'd just be a way to educate and then say, hey, at a following meeting, come in if you have questions. And if it's to the point, well, here's the citizen's complaint form. Or if you really want to change your zoning, this is what you can do here. But I think when we educate and then we do a follow-up, like a modified open house, but we just maybe open up the meeting for the first 15 minutes.
Okay. And so I was thinking, visit with Diane, is that there's something we could somehow put into the water bill? Send it out that way, or some notification about,
Well, it really needs to go to the landowners because
well,
put it in the water bill. Most of the people who get water bills don't own the land. They're just renters.
but then also we still advertise it out.
I just think it's a more way to encompass the whole town, not just certain neighborhoods. And then surely if we see a lot of folks that are having concerns, you as citizens can, with a petition, change it. And then that way we educate a lot of these folks like, realtors that don't disclose what certain zones are.
That doesn't happen.
No. I mean, that's just, again, just my food for thought, throwing it out there.
No, that's a good idea. I never thought of that.
Because I know we have issues in almost in every neighborhood. I'm sorry, I'll be honest. And I think a lot of us, again, have just gotten so accustomed to, I see it, grocery store, go back home. Until we all sit and have coffee or go, and then it's like, holy moly, there's a lot of.
Well, it just amazed me, the number of people that called me in the city that wanted to know what was going on next to Safeway.
Oh, yesterday, again, still.
That's, what's going on there? What are they building? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They have not put up a big, huge sign for the development yet. maybe we should contact those folks and say, hey, Pioneer Meadows,
I know the windstorm yesterday took down the fence all along Walnut.
That's why those guys are parking on Walnut now, going to work.
I mean, that's just my opinion of this. I mean, I open up for discussion because I think every neighborhood has issues. It's just a matter of how we address it. Yeah. Ed, any public comment on that?
Well, just one, that is the old map.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Not like we don't have a printer or a facility to print one, but I think
Well, you
we're
were
probably
saying
waiting for
what?
that last section to be approved.
You were saying most people still think this is the old map. It is the old map.
Here, fine, give me some markers. Hmm? So that takes care of that one. Yay. Update of certificate of occupancy, change of use, home businesses, fence and sign document. I truly think we just cleaned it up a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, and I didn't, and one of the things we asked for last time was if there'd be any input and any changes. Nobody contacted me. So the next packet I'll have,
Yeah, because I think the only thing we truly talked about was at the bottom of them to be consistent.
yeah,
No, because truly to me, I thought they were fairly good. I like the visuals because a lot of folks can see and draw things in, especially with the fences, especially with that side yard. A lot of folks have issues. They don't understand the side yard.
yeah, and that is a difficult one. So yeah, next packet I'll have kind of for next meeting, have a packet.
The draft. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So with that being said, we will jump to I, public comment.
Yeah, I would like to make one quick comment on.
Yes, Mr.
on
Henry.
each. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's my apologies. I didn't
No,
say-
Ed Maloney, and again, I've missed several of your meetings, I'm sure you missed me.
Yes, we did.
The one thing that I did think I read in the minutes was that you decided not to have, I see it still says the occupancy permit, but the last one that I glanced at said certificate of completion or something. Now, I was wondering, and this gets back to process in a way, really. One way to look at it, and I don't know if this is how you're looking at it or not, or where this is at, so it's as much a question as anything. Is it at the point where there's an application, and then there's one or more steps, and then a certificate is signed and they're good to go?
I think the certificate under the advice of the insurance company has been got rid of.
Yeah, after the last meeting,
Right, yeah, there will be no certificate of completion.
yeah, Russ provided some information, I've done some research with the state, and the feeling, well, that's not the feeling, is, the situation is as long as we don't have a building code inspector, we're not in a position to give out any certificates at all.
Not even, but you.
But however, I believe you're talking about a certificate of completion,
Okay,
meaning
certificate of-
after the initial date of that 1 year, day 365, maybe.
Well, no,
completion
maybe certificate of compliance would be a better word, because that's what you've been giving, is a certificate of compliance, that their proposal complies with the zoning. And what the forms are worded more as now is as an application.
Correct.
And my intuition still tells me that the process should conclude with a certificate of compliance. That, yeah, whether you go out there with your wheel and measure this, that they're doing did the setbacks the way they said they would, you're not certifying the building being sound. You're not certifying that they comply with any international building codes. You're certifying that they they said they were gonna build it at this spot with that setback, and that's what they did. And they've got the parking, and it's properly surfaced according to the zoning. So, you know, personally, I kind of like the way it was looking, that there's an application, and then at some point you certify that they've complied
Complete
with
form.
what they said they were gonna do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Rather than certifying up front, that all you're certifying is what they say they're going to do at that point,
Correct.
right? So, and that has been done in the past, like we talked about before. So I'd really encourage you to, when you're looking at that process, consider whether it's worthwhile to separate the application from the certification. And I know that would, I don't know how much time it would add to make a trip out and just close the loop at the end of these things, but I know that's where you were going for a while. And I think this certificate of occupancy or completion maybe is
Completion.
kind of a hang-up, you know. But it's really, all along, I think you've been talking about certifying compliance with the zoning. So, anyway, it's for what it's worth. Thank you.
That would be nice to have something like that, just because I know several projects where they've built their house and were supposed to build a garage for parking, and then they never built it.
Yeah.
And
And
sold the
they,
house, and what do you,
yeah, and they get it. And there might be an intermediate step like they were doing a few years ago in that other process that, you know, that deal that you handed out, where, you know, let us know when you got it staked out. And so that they're not completely done, and the only thing you can do is tell them to tear it out. But just knowing that somebody's gonna come by when they finish is probably gonna head off a lot of that,
Exactly.
you know. And tell them, come back if you want something doesn't look like you can do it the way you were proposing on the application. Come back and we can revisit it for a small fee. I mean, you know, that's just kind of, makes kind of logical sense.
Right.
Well, I think you did put in a fee if you did change it.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So it is,
So that'd be, yeah.
The fee's there.
well, we
You
got
say-
fees for a lot of things we don't have paperwork to do.
Yeah.
And again, when we redo our forms, take the less construction begins off the permit. Because it still says 1 year and less.
Yeah. But that whole thing, it's been kind of a little bit confusing anyway, because, in the old way of doing it anyway, because to me, it says zoning certificate on it, on the old ones. But, you know, you really aren't certifying that they complied.
Correct.
You're certifying that they say they're going to.
Correct. No, because that way we'll bring those docs back next meeting, Mr. Hazelbaker, please.
Yep.
Thank you. So with that being said, we will public comment on items of significant public interest not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the zoning commission. The mic is now open.
I have one little comment. If Mr. Hazelbaker would get a hold of Tim Stoker and see if he feels he wants to continue on our board. He has missed, I don't know how many meetings. It's been over a month and a half, I think, since he's been to a meeting. I don't keep track of that. I just
Yeah,
think
no,
it's,
it's,
I
that's
just think
fair
it's
question.
important if he, you know, if he wants to maintain on the board, he needs to make a better effort to come. Or if he's too busy, I mean, either way is understandable, but
Just when it comes to quorums, sometimes it's a little questionable, but once the snow flies, we're always over here. Mr. Ed, you have any public comment?
No.
Mr. Jeremy?
Nope.
Just checking over there, buddy.
It got awful cold, I guess.
Yeah, they're saying 28 tonight, you know? And the splash pad is done, man.
They get it.
Bummer. Somebody get some rubber duckies and like throw them over the fence or something.
Has it already been shut down?
Yes, yeah, we closed it late today.
Did they come and pump the water out of it?
For that?
No, they're coming this weekend, or at the end of this week, or part of next week.
That's good timing.
I know, right?
With the water down below the top of the pipe, so everything's draining under the cement?
Well, that's something we're gonna start exploring tomorrow.
Maybe I might want to run down this little pump and pump it out on the ground just to get it down below the top of the pipe.
So with that being said, I'd like to thank the commission for showing up tonight. I appreciate the public, I appreciate the staff, and I appreciate Jeremy. You know, hopefully you get some sales during this sales pitch, you know. Zoning's pretty boring. Maybe some realtors will pick up some ads or something for you during this session. Or construction people, hint, hint.
Not a bad idea.
I know, right?
Zoning Commission brought to you by,
Wow, they know their stuff. Let's go see it.
And how many followers do you have, David?
Jeremy has quite a few, though. I mean,
We get about 70,000 impressions a month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is very impressive for Joe.
Yep.
You know, unless we like stage it and we start like choking one another, you know, and having our own small riot, I gotta give you some sales pitch. But I appreciate it, Jeremy, very much.
Thank you.
With that being said, motion to
approve.
awesome. Second,
Adjourn, I'll second it.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you, everybody.
thank